and welcome to the PMA playoff season. And up tonight we have our match between Butter Our Biscuits and uh, Level 18.
Level 18. There you go.
There you go. We did
You
it.
got there. You got there.
We got there, and that's what counts. No mess ups whatsoever here on the PMA LCS. Absolutely pro level casting about to happen. My name is literally Nate, and co-casting with me we have the man, the myth, the legend, literally Commissioner.
I don't know about legend, but that's fine as well. What's up, guys? So yeah, we're coming at you with the second or the third. I think it's the third because the second playoff match is actually being played right now on Chad Penguin. So if you want to get a little dual screen action, I know the Red Division is currently playing right now, and we have this game. So a lot of PMA LCS to be had here tonight. I'm honestly excited about this game. Who do you got slotted winning for this, Nate? Like
I
just
personally
no
think Butter Our
champions, no
Biscuits.
nothing.
I personally think Butter Our Biscuits is going to win, but before we get down to that, let's get into pick ban as as they're starting up right away. And we already have a Lee Sin ban and an Alawi ban coming from Butter Our Biscuits, and a Nautilus and Swain ban coming out from Level 18. What do you make of these bans coming out from each side so far?
The Lee Sin, Alawi, Zyra, yeah, I mean those are the top three picks for Labby, Siren, Delphi, and Zephocalypse all together in one. Level 18 going for a little bit more of a target ban system. I know Joe Biscuit Hat plays a lot of Nautilus, also plays a lot of Swain in the support role. I know they've been known to also flex that role as well. So I do understand where this is going. The Aphelios ban, that's an interesting ban right there.
Yeah, Philios is definitely saw his time in the spotlight, but recent tunings to his kit have made him drop down in the tier list, in my opinion, below that of his counterparts of especially champs like Misfortune. So definitely interesting. Maybe just kind of respecting the amount of time that the Butter Our Biscuits has put into practicing this pick specifically.
Yeah, and that specifically is going to be aimed at, what did he rename himself to? Flydrate. That is specifically towards Flydrate. But that does leave up to Leona, another Biscuit Hat staple. So we're going to see that, and we're going to see the Morgana pickup. I do know that level 18 has been known to flex that around either in the support role, which is perfectly fine for them, or in the mid lane for Zephocalypse. So that's a really, really good counter flex pick that we're seeing right now. And the Caitlyn Morgana bot lane seems pretty strong.
Definitely very strong, but the Leona Misfortune bot lane pick
Yeah.
up is actually pretty strong, especially with the Jarvan. Got a really nice wombo combo set up for a huge Misfortune ult coming down, and definitely looking to see them pull off some of those combos and picks in these fights.
Yeah. Do y'all want to see a death ball comp? Because this is how you see a death ball comp. You got Leona Misfortune, you got OG Juiceman on the J4, one of his more comfortable champions coming out of the jungle as well. He has been known to be very aggressive whenever it comes to ganking. So I definitely see him trying to turn the tides around in this match, and a Poppy pickup right now.
Definitely interesting. I mean, it has the ability to just stop both Leona and Jarvan from getting in there, but at the end of the day, I don't think Jarvan really needs to land his initial knockup as long as he lands the ult following. I think maybe the Poppy's just looking to slow down these two combos before they get rolling. But back into the second round of picks, and it looks like we have a mid lane ban coming from both sides here with the Vel'Koz and Katarina, and then a Lux and Nocturne. I think the Vel'Koz and Lux are definitely targeted towards Fleeing Panda, and I definitely understand that trying to push his champ pool, and he's known to not have the deepest champ pool, so it's going to be interesting to see what Butter Our Biscuits comes back with. But the Katarina pick is also definitely a target towards Zephocalypse, who's really known for the Zyra and Katarina picks. So we'll have to see what they pick as well here.
And then it's going to be a cannon pickup for Butter Our Biscuits, as well as a Malzahar.
Classic Jabberwock pickup. I think the Malzahar is smart, seeing the Kazakhs lock in, and it also just gives a lot of agency and protection for the backline, considering Jarvan, Leona, Kennen all just kind of want to ditch Misfortune. And if they ditch Misfortune and Kha'Zix is like on a flank or even just jumps past them, it really leaves a lot of their damage away. And especially with that
Hello.
Akali block in, it definitely makes sense that you want to try and have some peel in your mid laner to help protect this carry package that they have set up here.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, Akali lives and breathes backline access. Not really sure where you're gonna put the Akali. Right? I know. I guess that's gonna be mid with the Poppy top.
Probably, I could see it mid lane in the Malzahar. It's going to be definitely a rough matchup early, but Kali does scale pretty well now. With the hot fix to her ultimate, she's definitely could put out some pretty serious damage if she is allowed to get some agency and start scaling into the later game. But we'll have to see if Zephocalypse lets that happen. Definitely a pretty big lane bully and knows how to take advantage of a melee ranged matchup and puts up some pretty crazy damage numbers. And Malzahar, while most people think he's just an Arbot, if played correctly, can really put out a ton of damage in these team fights.
Yeah, 100%. But the Poppy into the Kenyan matchup coming in the top lane, that isn't going to be the best for Poppy because, Kennen being
No
traditionally a
dashes as well as
range
the range
champion.
bully. Yeah,
Yeah,
for
there's
sure.
no dashes as well. Really an awkward pickup there from the side of level 18. I'm not really sure where they were going with that, knowing that the other three champions were Leona, Misfortune, J4. Maybe a little bit of the disengage, which kind of helps out in their favor with the Kennen. But beyond that, I don't really know what she's really going to be able to do. I know she can pin people inside of J4's own ultimate, so that's pretty nutty. But other than the J4 and the Leona Zenith Blade, not a lot of dashes coming out from BOB. So the Poppy pickup I think, is going to be the main point of contention here. Is to why the Poppy? Why not something a little bit, if you're leaning a tank that does, true damage based on health? I mean, Ornn is still a very solid pickup. You still have the Maokai, you have the Malphite as well. So I'm
Yeah,
very curious to see where the
definitely
Poppy
pretty
kind of
interesting
fits in
pick, ban.
everywhere.
Yeah, definitely pretty interesting pick, ban. And if I can devolve here for a second as we get ready for our nice little 5 minute delay before we actually get into the game here, there's definitely a big trend I've noticed in the pick bans, especially here in the gold lead. And that is even when you're first pick, everybody likes to lock in bot lane jungle within those first three picks, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is a huge mistake, especially when you're on blue side, because blue side has the advantage of like being able to pick up a real priority power pick that you can have as a flex role. So
Mm-hmm.
champs like uh, Swain or champs like Lux and before his band, or champs like Set, or champs like these champs that can be tossed into multiple lanes but are in a really strong position right now, either in the meta or in your team, are really important to pick up on the first one, on that first round, so people don't understand what you're going, but you also lock in that strength, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where on the red side, the strategy is all about the counter pick, right? And you usually want to save your solo lanes for the last two picks as a result on the red side. So I understand picking the bot lane and jungle usually on the red side. That makes sense, right? So you can save those counter picks for the solo lanes.
Mm-hmm.
But both teams here kind of trolled their advantages of the pick ban for both sides, because Bob picked up their support first pick, which has been a really common trend, which I think is a big mistake. Um, and then locked in their bot lane and jungle, which was fine after hard committing to support. I think it's smart not to show a solo lane. But then level 18 in response locked in their top laner um, before their jungler. So they didn't actually give their top laner the ability to get a matchup that they wanted to see. And now they're in an unfavorable matchup in the side that's supposed to be able to have the priority for these solo lane matchups. So it's going to be really interesting to see how that matches up, and I think it's a weird trend that happens within the PMA LCS that I hope we see maybe some other people pick up on and stray away from.
I mean, no, I definitely agree that the trend is definitely there. However, I would probably say that Leona is a point of contention whenever it comes to these two teams, because of the fact that I'm sorry, the support lane for level 18, MF Shadow is no slouch for a Leona player. So he has played it before, and he has played it to a lot of great success. So, it's kind of the last little champion in Biscuit Hat's little pool that he seems comfortable on. Also, you can say that you can flex it between Biscuit Hat and Fleeing Panda as well. So I'd like to give them a little bit more of the benefit of the doubt that it was a contested pick.
Yeah,
All things
I
considered.
don't think it's I don't think the Leona is necessarily like a terrible pick, but I think there's more efficient ways to go about it, right?
Mhm.
So there's like you want to try and if they really wanted the Leona, for example, like on level 18, right? You can bait them into said pick, um, and pick up the Morgana, which is pretty generally considered a strong matchup into Leona, right? Or or Nautilus is banned, but theoretically, there the idea is that there's ways that they could have played out the pick ban better so they don't end up in the scenario where they have to first pick the support, right?
Mhm.
And I just think it's kind of interesting that people prioritize the bot lane a lot in this league, especially when it comes to certain picks. Like I know we specifically prioritized a lot the Nautilus pick against Heroes of the Storm, because of good old Justin in here,
Mhm.
which makes sense.
Yeah.
Um, but also like it's in my opinion right now in the meta, I just think especially at our elo, solo lanes are just so much more important and impactful with the jungler. So picking up a strong power pick in those can really counteract the strong power picks in the bot lane. And also, it just to me, it seems like there's more strong power picks, especially with the nerfing of Senna and Aphelios in the solo lanes and jungle right now, comparatively to the bot lane. So it's just interesting. I'm not saying it's like a really terrible pick that all of a sudden Bob just hard trolled this pick ban and they're gonna just lose because they picked Leona first pick. I just think there's a potential that they could have maybe got something better.
Well, all things considered, Leona Misfortune probably, arguably right now, the
Probably
best
the
bot
best
lane
bot
duo.
lane.
Yes,
Absolutely. Definitely a very
the
strong
best bot lane
bot lane.
duo. Aside from, I believe it was Tom Kench and another champion. I forget. Was it Senna? I think it may
I
have
think
been
I think
Senna.
you're thinking about the Tom Kent Senna when fasting Senna was good before they nerfed it.
Yeah.
Although it's still a
Yes.
fairly good lane, however,
Still
I
very
would
good. Yeah.
I would want to put into contention with best bot lanes like a Swain Jin. That's a
I would
lane
not
I've
say Jin
found
is
that's super strong.
it's really strong, like it because it's just kind of like cheeky a little bit with the good follow up, and both of them have really strong damage. So they especially with the Swain, Jin can really take advantage of his execute damage. It's good.
And
Like don't get me
stacking
wrong,
the CC
but
as
like
well.
yeah, yeah, very true. Having any ADC that comes with a package deal of CC is always feels very great during lane, right? But
Absolutely.
it always just comes down to their impact out of lane, because that's the ADC's job at the end of the day. Is like, yeah, you can win lane, great, but you're not going to be split pushing like a top laner after winning lane. You're not going to be split pushing or assassinating the back line like a mid laner after winning lane. There's less ways for an ADC to become relevant outside of just straight up team fighting. So I think the best team fighters right now and the people that have the ability to just win strong games. Here, let's pause it at 10
Yeah, I'm gonna
seconds
pause at 10.
and then I'll finish my point. Um, is probably I think Caitlyn's top tier. I think Misfortune's top tier, and then honestly they've gutted a lot of champions recently, but
All right, I'm ready.
in the bot lane. But all right, I'm ready too.
Yep.
Ready? So 3, 2, 1, play. And then I think right now Callista is a really priority pick too that we're seeing pop up again, simply because of her lane dominance and the fact that she can accelerate the game with strong objective control and things like that.
Well,
As well as again with the Callista, it's part of those things where it's like if, for example, Bob were to first pick Callista, level 18 wouldn't be able to say exactly where Kallista's going to go, right? Callista could go top lane, and after locking in Poppy, they'd probably be like, yeah, let's have a Callista against Poppy, and Callista's just going to run all over her. And then, or it could go mid lane. It's not as strong as top lane, but people have done it. Or it could go bot lane, right? That's part of like the early picks that like when you have the first pick is you want to get a strong pick, but you also want to give away as little information as possible.
Yeah. So, just a little skirmish there in the top lane.
Yep.
Doing
I
a
think
little
there's
pixel
definitely
push.
there's definitely some wards coming out. More on the red side, so we'll have to see if they're able to track the jungler here.
Now this is interesting because it's so early. The top laner for the side of level 18, Siren Delphi, is not going to be able to scout out that Scuttle Crab. So OG Juiceman, if he recognizes this as an early ward, he could go down and try and get Labby caught off guard with that lack of vision. So it's definitely going to be something to see here in the next couple of minutes. But otherwise, everyone's just going to their respective lanes. Nothing really much to go. Nice little bounce there. But to the point that I was kind of making is that while the Callista is a very good point of contention, it's not a champion that has a very low skill floor. It takes a lot of
True.
mastery on the champion to be able
Very
to
true.
Yeah, and I was also
Uh,
going to mention I don't know many Callista players in the PMALCS. I mean, I
Yes,
know a
absolutely.
couple.
Biscuit actually comes in, getting the early level 2 MF Shadow caught off guard.
Oh, and
Oh,
may
that
just
was
go down to
close.
Ignite here. Oh,
No,
definitely
he
surviving
doesn't.
with very low health here. And,
Yeah.
but that's definitely a good engage there by Butter or Biscuits, recognizing the fact that they had the level advantage and forcing out multiple summoners on the side of level 18 and really taking a strong advantage here early in the game. As the gank's coming out from OG Juiceman is there on top of Apocalypse, and that's definitely an early Ignite. I think it was maybe a little bit of a misunderstanding as they see the Shroud and not understanding the damage that was already dealt and not having much more follow-up. But good escape, good from Zephocalypse to understand that threatening the kill himself on OG Juiceman was a great way to avoid just dying.
Yeah, that's going to be one of his biggest assets there is the Shroud. Fling Panda needs to really take care of that timing because he's not going to be able to really get a lot of trades going outside of the Malefic Visions if the Akali is out of sight. At least until level 6 when, you just press the R button and you hold the person in place. So he has a little bit of time. Zephocalypse needs to try his best to try and get as much of a lead as possible before that level 6, because after level 6, that lane just becomes abysmal.
Yeah, I mean, Zephocalypse doing a good job. His laner is completely out of mana after that engage, so there's no agency whatsoever to shove the wave anymore, and whereas Akali can manipulate it any way she wants here. So it's going to be interesting to see how she decides to punish that, and right now it looks like she's trying to crash a big wave
Oh,
into the
no,
tribe.
Fustis just missing that...
Oh, but we got a gank
trap.
coming out from Kha'Zix, but OG Juiceman's there to counter, and a good stun on top of the thing, and this flash forward coming from OG Juiceman. There's another flash forward coming from Biscuit has the Ignite's dropped, and MF Shadow just goes down to Misfortune with the auto attack there. As that is definitely a scrappy 3v3 in the bot lane there, as OG Juiceman has the level advantage and a great read of where Labby was looking to gank there, and ends up being a 1-for-0 as multiple flashes are traded, and Butter Our Biscuits walks away with blinking health bars as well.
Yeah, huge props there to OG Juiceman, recognizing the fact that his bot lane was so far pushed up, has been so far pushed up ever since that level 2 engage by Biscuit had, and understanding that, hey, Labyrinth 1898 is going to try and find a way to get this bot lane back into this matchup at least a little bit after that early back, and is able to recognize all of that in a great counter engage leading into that first blood.
Yeah. Definitely some heads-up play from MF Shadow as well. Almost pick up the kill back onto Biscuit Hat, as there's a little bit of a desync in the flashes forward from Butter Our Biscuits that could have turned out pretty poorly considering how low some of their health bars got. But it ended up going well, and we'll have to see how that bot lane lead grows, if at all.
Yeah, for sure. Ooh,
Two tower shots. Jabberwock getting a little bit hyphy as he tries to hunt down and stop the back of Siren Delphi as he's crashing this wave. Definitely feeling himself a little bit, but this is definitely a bit sketchy. He's got level 6 on the Poppy. I don't know what Poppy's doing there. Almost killing him, I guess, but I think Poppy could have probably just flashed with Poppy Stoppy up and smacked him in his face and got the kill against the wall with that instead of going for the long range ult. But ultimate's trading here in the mid lane as OG Juiceman shows up here too, as well as Zephocalypse is able to get out knowing that he has the damage advantage, but Jabberwock is still not left lane and is definitely still low on health as Siren Delphi is back to half health and flashes in to try and pick up the kill, and there's a trade of flashes in the top lane as the action just doesn't stop here in this game.
Yeah. You know, it really is weird looking at another Akali player and their playstyle, because I absolutely would have greeted for that kill onto Fleeing Panda. You have the execute, while you do have the J4 standing right there, you also had the Shroud relatively up in a safe area. Yeah, it's just one of those little minute weird things whenever you're casting a game and, you know, champion that you have relatively huge mastery on is being played just in a different style.
It's interesting. It's interesting to me. I am a big fan right now of 2 masteries on Akali. That's Electrocute if you want to go for the kills, and if you're looking to scale, Fleet Footwork. A mastery that I've become significantly less of a fan of is Conquer, and I want to talk to you about it because with the nerfs to her Q and Q spam, Conqueror is much more difficult to stack, and you don't get as much like use of it like you would before in those tank matchups where you literally just spam your Q on top of it. But there's an engage coming in the bot lane, and it's just simply black shielded, so it's not going to turn out too much. As Apocalypse is just taking a huge amount of poke damage in the mid lane as well.
Yeah.
But back to my point about the Masters of the Kali. What do you think is the optimal decision right now? Are you still a fan of the Conqueror, or
Conquer? If
you're going for damage,
Conquer 100%. It's actually very, very easy to proc, but we're going to actually go back to that point as Labyrinth 1898 trying to find the kill onto Jabberwock. Jabberwock just pops the ultimate, gets out of there. Not really a scratch on him, and Labyrinth 1898 a little bit worse for wear. Definitely. But yeah, to go back to your question, Conqueror, it's actually surprisingly easy to proc the Conqueror because Shuriken stacks it for 2, the Q stacks it for 2, and then you're weaving in auto attacks anyway, all at the exact same time. So it's surprisingly a lot more than you think. As but TP is coming down from Siren Delphi trying to make something happen here.
But but Biscuit steps back up, but he just stuns it in his face and walks away. He's definitely a bit greedy, but that is definitely an interesting Siren Delphi as the ultimate comes out of Flydrate and just melts him where he stands. As a friendship test comes out of Fustus, and it is definitely passed by Flydrate as he blocks that ultimate for his support. Definitely a little bit greedy coming from Siren Delphi, trying to get something out of the teleport, even though he had already looked like Butter Hibiscus was definitely disengaged successfully.
And that's gonna be terrible right now for Siren Delphi. He burnt the teleport. Not only did he burn the teleport, but he also went down to the death timer as well. He's going to miss so much coming out of this top lane onto Jabberwock, who already has a plate on him, has about 10 CS as well. So
there's a gank coming in the bot lane, and it's a great ultimate from OG Juiceman, interrupting the dash from Fustus. But Labyrinth shows up here too and gets a good isolated Q as Flydrate keeps chasing, and he flashes forward as but the ultimate comes out of Labyrinth, and he gets stealth under a tower, but the damage is coming through, and looks like they're just going to decide to back off as he makes it way safely under tower.
Wow. Yeah, no, not really much to report there. Huge cataclysm there by OG Juiceman, burning Fustus because he had already used a 6 caliber net, but he's actually bit greedy.
He doesn't understand that he's by himself right now and goes down to the snipe Labyrinth, blocking the electrocute.
Flydrate needs to be very careful here. Nice Shuriken flip from Zephocalypse. Biscuit had going way far back.
That's a huge stun, but also a big binding coming out as they definitely have the kill to pick up. And But that's good that he forced the ult, I guess, coming out from Zephocalypse. Definitely a bright side, but definitely a bit greedy going for a ward after your jungler had just died, you know, not 50 feet away to 3 people.
Yeah.
Hey guys, pause your stream at 11. I think we got desynced.
Okay.
11 minutes exactly.
Okay.
About 5 seconds. Why are
see,
you
I'm-
already at 11? That's weird.
No, I'm 5 seconds behind you.
Okay, I'm at 11.
I had a lag spike, and I think the stream kept going for y'all. Oh, I'm at 11.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Yep, we're at 11.
Okay.
All right.
3,
So 3,
2, 1, go.
All right,
Yeah,
cool.
so very well placed shuriken flip by Zephocalypse, making Leona's life a little bit harder because you can't really shy away from a Zenith blade. There's no Lee syndrome there. You're committed once you hit it there. So Zephocalypse shuriken flipping back into his team really just spelled the end there for Biscuit Hat. Very unfortunate.
As well as it's a weird Zenith play to go for, again, knowing that he had just lost his jungler, and with mid priority established from Zephocalypse, he was in the river. They definitely had a clear numbers advantage on the side of level 18, so definitely some interesting plays coming from Butter Our Biscuits, and we'll have to see how they pick it up as they just have a slight 1,000 gold lead here now 11 minutes in. But there's a gank coming from Butter Our Biscuits, and as well, again, good backflip coming out of Zephocalypse to avoid the Zenith Blade and the CC that would follow up along with Fleeing Panda.
Yeah, for sure. So we're seeing the 1,000 gold lead here, and that, honestly speaking, most of it is in that top lane matchup with those couple of plates that is on the Kennen, along with now a about 20 CS lead. That's going to be a very big yikes right now. Already completed a proto belt to Poppy's components to a Sunfire cape this early. I don't know about that one. I think maybe go for a Bomby Cinders into a magic resist item would have been a lot better.
Definitely an early alt coming out of Biscuit Hat. He's looking a little bit rusty right now on the Leona gauges. He probably shouldn't be in mistiming a bit on his ultimate there, as MF Shadow clearly still had a lot of time left on that Black Shield.
Yeah, just a little bit a little itchy on the trigger finger, but I'm sure he'll clean it back up a little bit later on in this game. Just gotta shake it off a little bit. But Flagra being taken down. Well, not taken down.
But looks like Biscuit Hat's roaming up here. There's a miss coming from the Labyrinth, and he's just going down immediately. But the TP commit from Jabberwock is a little bit interesting, but
oh wait,
MF Shadow is just completely disrespecting the fact that a TP was channeled, not down the river from him, and a huge double kill coming out right as Dragon is spawning. So well played coming from Butter Our Biscuits, and a little bit of a misread of the map coming from level 18 as they are about to pick up a good Dragon from a pretty opportunistic TP.
Yeah, very, very unfortunate timing there. The bot lane of level 18 not understanding the dragon is supposed to be up. Usually the time where you want to regroup, especially if you just saw the TP being channeled and your top laner not having the TP available, having just burned it as well. Yeah, like you said, a huge misread from the side of level 18 there, and that's going to spell the second Drake going over for the side of
second Drake
Bob.
and first tower here as well with that Rift Herald usage. They probably are able to pick this up. We'll have to see though, as
I don't think
OG
so.
Juiceman's just deciding not to commit for it, which is definitely interesting considering they had the man advantage. But I guess they're prioritizing the fact that Juiceman was low on health and Flydrate's low on mana, but they pick it up anyway. Definitely turret plates going down is a big deal, but Apocalypse taking advantage of the low mana, and no ult from Fleeing Panda is just going to pick up solo kill here in the mid lane.
That was a good
executes, and that was pretty clean considering he predicted the flash, or at least patiently waited for the flash to come out before he used the second ultimate as a assassination in the top lane as well from Labyrinth, knowing that Jabberwock had used his speed, and they have the CC with Siren Delphi.
Yeah, just a little misread on certain macro plays right now from level 18, but that little sequence of event brought them back into the 1K gold lead. They lost the dragon, which is pretty unfortunate, but a couple of clean plays and that little top lane gank, as well as just the bread and butter combos from Zephocalypse. He definitely knows the champion well to end the mid lane's life as well. Gonna go ahead and get this back up to about a 500 gold lead.
Now he needs to take that right now. I say he takes that.
I would, but that's just
no ultimate. Leona sitting right there has 3 forms of CC. Nah,
He
I
has
got
Shroud.
this.
He's
ADC's
fine.
dead.
He has Shroud. He's fine.
Oh, and
Oh
there's
my-
a
okay,
big
alright.
damage coming from Fly Drake.
Alright.
Not even an execute on the minion. Oh, my god. That is not okay. That one didn't even
Riot.
have double up. That one didn't even get the double up. If that had the double up damage on that, Zephocalypse is just straight up like he's not dead from the damage, but I'm gonna see some flashes being blown and they're killing his ass. And this is definitely the 3-0 bot lane power coming out from again that incredibly strong Misfortune pick, who was top 3 when Aphelios and Senna were broken. And Aphelios and Senna got nerfed. Misfortune has not. So she is definitely queen of the bot lane right now, and is showing the strength that can come out of that champion when ahead.
Yeah, I mean, Essence Reaver already picked up from the side of the MF 3-0, 300 gold.
As a fight's
wow.
breaking out here in the bot lane, as we see an interesting interaction, is a good black shield protects MF Shadow from getting locked down from fleeing Panda CC, and is forced to flash out of the Cataclysm as 2 ultimates blown for a flash. Is going to be interesting to see. They still have numbers advantage as level 18 is slow to rotate to this tower, but it looks like Butter or Biscuits is a little bit wary of trying to commit to it, considering the strength of the Akali is. I don't know if Akali should have take that even if she landed it. She did not have Shroud. There's 4 people there. Probably dies.
Yeah, no, at that point. Yeah, no, I mean, Shroud is going to be her biggest tool of whether or not she's going to be taking the Shuriken or not, because that's going to really going to dictate how safe she actually is. And then, the Malzahar is there, has the ultimate primed and ready. Well, not at the moment, but I'm sure
I do really want to see 2 things for a successful Poppy, or not a successful Akali dive here. Is Morgana giving her the black shield as she's going in, so she has that CC time for the early parts of her combo before she really gets that stupid amount of mobility with her ultimate. Oh, there's a dive coming out here. Is just 2 forms to be blown on top of her, but good black shield from MF Shadow to protect her from the follow-up ultimate from Biscuit Hat, which would surely lock her down long enough to kill her with the MF ult, and still forcing the flash because, again, MF is so ahead right now and really flexing their muscles to get that mid lane turret down. As they really just kind of A-ramp there for solid 3-4 minutes. But we have Dragon coming up here, and bot lane still hasn't reset, and they don't have ultimate, and they don't have mana. I would really like them to, and they just got a tower. They're definitely sitting on some gold right now. I can tell you how much here exactly. Yeah, MF is sitting on a BF sword, which is definitely a back that she would like to have, but they are prioritizing just sitting here in the dragon area, even though it hasn't spawned, but they forced the Poppy ultimate, and they're giving up a lot of dragon pressure here because they haven't gotten a reset off, and I think they're really kind of low on resources, but we're going to have to see what happens here, considering they are relatively ahead, and their bot lane is definitely very ahead. So, but the Misfortune ult will be up probably in time for this drag. Nope, never mind. I can't. How do you get the dragon timers again?
You go to the little eye icon on the bottom left-hand corner, and then objective timers.
Got it. I clicked it, but it doesn't show it.
And yeah, it's on the top. It's on the right-hand side above the minimap.
Yeah, it's not showing it for me. I clicked it. It's not showing it.
That's weird. It's showing it for me.
Unlucky. I guess I'm gonna have to rely on you. Oh, it's a missed ultimate coming out. It's a good
that's huge.
Poppy, but also a big MF ultimate coming out as Poppy's just about to die.
Oh my god.
Good ultimate from Fling Panda to shut down the Akali as she's going in there at low health, and Jabberwock is just kind of free hitting the backline without his ultimate and is getting these stuns and is able to pick up a triple kill, wiping the enemy team as clean ace comes out right as Dragon spawns. And definitely a good job stalling it out long enough for the big team fight ultimates to come back up, and a little bit of a misread again from level 18 is they should have forced that dragon on spawn, knowing that these big team fight cooldowns were off cooldown and would have had a higher success rate potentially in that fight. But now the gold lead is definitely firmly in control of Butter or Biscuits as they get jump up to around 5,000 gold, and as we pass the 20-minute mark here.
Yeah, no, I don't blame level 18 for that dragon fight at all. I mean, the Leona had just missed the ultimate. The misfortune, that ultimate had just burnt down as well. The Zavacalypse had the backline access all prepped and ready, but there's a Malzahar in play, and unfortunately, you have not paid the Malzahar tax. You do not pass go. You do not collect $200, and you're just stuck there in the middle of 4 people just right-clicking you with everything they got. So
Yeah.
I don't blame them for taking that fight. It was honestly it was a really good team fight to take. The channel still hadn't been completed by Jabberwock, but unfortunately, just a little bit of a miscommunication there from level 18. Had that MF gone down a lot earlier, and that perfect execution have gone out from Zephocalypse, that fight would have looked 10 times different.
I think you're right in a way, but keep in mind Jabberwock did just immediately triple kill their backline for free without any repercussions, and that was by himself. So I think the big issue there was just kind of like a timings of the ultimates and knowing whether or not they were back up. And you have to realize that after kind of like dragon dancing for so long that those ultimates were going to be back up, and your team does not want a straight up and down 5v5 without any sort of like prep work as far as like getting a Kali behind or blowing a Malzahar ult or getting a good binding for a chunk of damage. Any of these things that are the tools that level 18 drafted versus a deathball comp and that has all their ultimates. So I think the times that they should have gone for the fight, because you're right. I think it was a smart fight. Like that's if you're going to take it at some point. I think taking it then you're only down 1,000 gold to round an objective. But I think they just did it a little bit too early. As a shit ton of damage comes out of this misfortune, and that is just completely unacceptable. Again, not even executing for the bonus damage, dealing half the health of this poor Morgana. The 2-item misfortune at this point is just, or almost 2-item misfortune here is just flexing her muscles and
this is such a weird call here from the side of BOB. As Zephocalypse
the stun is locked up on Zephocalypse, but a good Poppy ult knocks the 2 people away and protects the mid laner as she barely gets out.
Yeah, a very weird call here because you could be doing other
Siren's
things around the
LP is
map.
forced to flash as well from just a huge chunk from Fleeing Panda and Flydray, and ultimate's used, but for the flash I think it's definitely worth it. But it's really weird. Honestly, this is kind of like a troll turret. Top lane there is not a turret that many people prioritize. It's kind of just like one of those turrets that you get when you have like other objectives, like you have like your Baron or you have nothing else really to do. So it's really interesting that level 18 is willing to give up so much trying to defend this inner turret when they're clearly from a position of weakness. As Labby is looking for the 1v1 on Jabberwock, and he may just have it with the ultimate usage and the isolation, and Jabberwock kind of caught sleeping a little bit too far down the lane, too low health against a Kha'Zix you can just stealth in and kill him.
Not the ultimate, don't believe was available at the time. So unfortunate timing there, but it's just going to prompt an entire back. And yeah, this is kind of what I was saying is that they got the top lane turret, but they traded the cannon's life for it, and there's just so much more that you could have done on the map. You could have gone bot lane. You could have sent your bot lane that is already so super duper strong into the bottom lane to pick up that EXP and gold that's just been pretty much sitting
honestly,
there, and now you're kind of trying to struggle to get back into that warding position for this next dragon coming up.
Yeah, and for sure, like, I think the play, if they wanted to siege a tower down, would have been the bot lane turret, because it just helps give you that, like, guaranteed bot lane priority for these also important dragons, especially on the soul point here. But everybody is back up on the side of Butter Our Biscuits, and all of them have their team fight ults ready and available. And level 18 it definitely knows this at this point, and they're trying to push the issue, not letting Butter Our Biscuits get in position for it. But the moment they show up, they realize that they cannot win this fight. But it looks like they're trying to go back in as Dragon's just about to go down, and they're It's a good secure from OG Juiceman as there's just a wipe again from the side of Butter or Biscuits, and they got the MF, but at what cost? There's Soul Point now, or there's Dragon Soul down, a complete ace, and it looks like they may be able to get just inhib here at least, and then look to probably pressure Baron with that Soul and a very strong Kennen ultimate again, and a very strong Leona ultimate onto the backline, helping just clean up that fight. And this assassin comp is just having a hard time dealing with this death ball comp.
I really think going into the late game, the way that level 18 can really improve and maybe come back is I want to see the Morgana playing a bit safer. A lot of times in these team fights, I see her being one of the first people to go down, and then the Caitlyn has no one left to peel. And I think by the Morgana playing a bit safer, it's going to give them a little bit more time to drag out these team fights and wait out the zoning tool of the Jarvan ult. You've got the Malzahar ult, Leona ult, all those ults that are huge zoning tools, and they can blow a team up in an instant. And I think if they make these fights go a little slower, they'll be able to deal with that a little bit better.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a fair assessment. I mean, like, these team fights definitely are very reactionary right now. So you have to do your best to try and kite out these big team fight ults and look for a potential turn. And at this point, when you're this behind, the only places that you can really look for those turns are probably your Nexus turrets, honestly. And maybe look for a cheeky Labyrinth steal on Baron when Butter or Biscuits eventually goes for that. I mean, with a 5,000 gold lead, I mean, it's pretty tough because Butter or Biscuits can kind of just slap you with their wallets and really force almost anything with all their summoners up, especially on their big engages like OG Juiceman and Biscuit had. So it's pretty tough to get away from that if you're trying to contest around neutral objectives like Baron.
That's definitely true.
Yeah, so the Baron dance has started. Jabberwock is in the bottom lane with that TP available. Mid lane is down also from level 18. This is not going to be a high percentage Baron. I don't really think they have a way of getting in there. Zephocalypse is here, though, looking for that Shuriken flip. Does get it, but the damage from Jabberwock is just
it's too strong. Yeah, he's too strong at this point. Even if Zephocalypse goes in, Kennen's one of those champions that can very easily deal with a shrouded Akali. Just press R on top of her, as he's about to see, as he gets a stun down, but flashing. Strong flash, good reaction timing from Zephocalypse, because if he got stunned before flashing, he probably just goes down. As there's an engage on his Siren Delphi, but the Black Shield stops him from getting CC locked from the Leona, and is flashes back again under his turret, as lots of summoner spells being blown here to protect some of these turrets. And really, I think trying to protect the bot lane turret against a fed Kennen in a 1v1 when you're down a level, down 3 kills as an Akali is a little bit questionable, considering that Kennen is probably just going to get that anyway. So losing your flash for that is definitely something you don't want to see. As Poppy's looking to try and go in here as the spell shield comes out, but the Flydrake just single-mindedly is just auto-attacking that turret, wants to see it dead, wants to get this inhib broken, as they are just, again, slapping them with their wallets. Not a lot of forced engage potential on the side of level 18, especially when Poppy is just kind of like frontlining. You can't really get these flank positions, as an ultimate comes out from Leona and is black shielded and jumped away from the side of level 18 as the inhib is just set to go down here. And just kind of forcing on both sides as Jabberwock is split pushing in the bottom as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's the tail of the tape right now. I think the writing's pretty much on the wall. Flydrate is just walking up to this Kha'Zix, who is, very, very
burning his
underfed at
ultimate
this point.
too, trying to maybe look for this Jabberwock, but immediately walks out of the base. The rest of the team immediately regrets his decision, as a Jabberwock ultimate coming out here a little bit early without having really anybody kind of near him and not having that protobelt to get on top of people. Maybe just kind of using it as a zoning tool to pick up the triple inhibitor, as Butter Our Biscuits is probably just going to go for a recall here, is almost getting just one shot, but a little bit of a miss angle here as MF Shadow just kind of walks away from the ultimate. But definitely, oh, the longest Poppy shield in the world. We're gonna see it in the base.
Has it hit? There it
Oh,
is.
yep, there is. I hear the sound for Poppy is. Now level 18 is gonna have to deal with double supers crashing, and I want to see Butter Our Biscuits just running straight to either this Baron or Elder Dragon. Honestly, you could do Baron
Elder.
right now, and
I'd
then
take
Elder
Elder.
will spawn by the time you've killed it, because Elder's not up for like another 30 seconds. So
Yeah, 30 seconds.
so you can probably just immediately burn this, and I think that's the play. And maybe just keep vision on Elder just in case they try and go for a cheeky sneak. But it looks like they're just gonna play it slow, wait for this dragon to come up maybe. But good binding coming out. But again, just more
Doesn't
numbers.
matter.
There's MF Shadows already forced to flash and just immediately gets just one shot by this nasty damage coming from side of Butter Our Biscuits. And like I said, they'll be able to burn this down pretty quickly as Elder Dragon is just spawning, and level 18 is not in any kind of position to try and trade the objective. So I think we'll see Butter Our Biscuits getting both of these buffs, especially with Labby. Probably just going to get one shot here before the Baron's even down, and it's definitely going to be probably just a straight up end at this point with two people down. Baron buff is definitely strong enough. Don't need a Elder Dragon with all these supers crashing in. But it looks like they're going to play it safe. Get the Elder Dragon. Do it a little bit tutorial style. Make sure you get every objective possible, and maybe we'll get some hashtag bois in the chat as we see.
It's the difference between an 80% win chance to a 90% win chance.
Exactly.
It's just that little bit more security to end out the game, draw it out. Honestly speaking, if I were level 18, I would probably start chalking this one up and thinking about the next game. And then also at the side of BOB, they have that power to do so as well. They just got to clean it up, just play some very basic.
So that's definitely an early Black Shield. I think Butter or Biscuit should realize that that's down and maybe go for a tower dive here, especially with the powers of the Elder Drake. But Zafakos is just kind of going in, and I think he's killed here as the Bois comes out in a big ultimate from the top of Misfortune, as well as she picks up a double kill in the turret with how strong this execute is. And that is just game one going down to the side of Butter or Biscuits. Is a pretty convincing performance in that mid game. It was pretty close for a while, but then just some smart macro decisions around the Dragons, picking up some strong team fight victories on the side of the death ball comp. And going forward here, what do you think you need to see from level 18 to change the results here?
You need to change the Aphelios ban to a Misfortune ban, because as we said before, while Aphelios is one of Flydrate's more recognized AD carries, it just pales in comparison to the Misfortune at this point. You could be fed on Aphelios and it would feel okay, like you'd be in a relatively good position. But I mean, the Misfortune was ahead, and it was really hard. I mean, we saw that 1Q just half health, MF Shadow's health bar so many times just out of nowhere for nothing. So I would definitely want to see that. I would honestly want to see level 18 kind of look where their weak points were, because I feel like there was a lot of disjoint in this team composition that they had. They had the Morgana, which generally speaking is meant to keep the Cade safe, but is also primed for a pick. It's primed for a pick.
Hey, by the way, you should change your stream right now to a neutral thing, so they don't have to see you.
I'm not able to do that. I couldn't get that set up in time. It'll be fine.
So I would change that, the Aphelios, and then the Poppy. I just feel like the Poppy wall, it didn't really, it wasn't bad by any means. He didn't feed on it or anything else like that. It just felt very, very out of place within this team composition. You have the Kazakhs, you have the Akali Assassins. Okay, yeah, for sure. Then you have the Morgana, all the makings of a pick comp, but then you have the Poppy there. And while it does serve as a pick comp component as well at times, it just felt very, very out of place. So I would rather level 18 maybe go for something like I said before.
Justin Grubbs, there's
in the very front.
There is no game MVP,
only series.
Oh.
So yeah, just to reassess the Poppy pick. drop the Aphelios ban and switch that off for a Misfortune. And then honestly, I think you just go from there and you kind of just make sure that you're kind of headstrong for game 2.
Yeah, I agree. I think they definitely need a. We're gonna go for pick comp. They need a hard commit on it, as well as I think I want to see. Akali's a strong split pusher. Like that's one aspect of assassin play that is good. That I think Akali was strong. If you take that strength to a side lane and force someone to try and match you on it when you're in an even footing with Jabberwock, I think Zapocalypse is a good enough player to start turning that matchup and force a PowerPoint on the map. So I think they need to play a little bit more towards their strengths and understanding, especially with the Kazakhs on the team as well, who's really good at shadowing these split pushers and turning a 1v1 into a quick 2v1 kill is something they probably should have looked for. And we'll see if they're able to turn it around in game 2 here. But I think we're gonna take a little pause as we get ready for game 2. So strong performance from both Jabberwock and Flydrate, and we'll have to see which going forward can keep it up and whether or not level 18 is able to turn it around here. So Justin, if you could turn off the stream.
Yep.